What do you know, they kicked another wide right.
The Orange Bowl went crazy. Florida State ended up finishing the game with a missed field goal. That's when we knew the reconstruction of the Orange Bowl had been complete.
That's probably one of my favorite moments as a Hurricane when everybody rushed the field.
It feels great. It's the best feel of my life. I couldn't ask for anything more right now.
The cameras came to me, asking me how I feel.
You've been waiting for this your whole career. Damn, man, I can't.
I always had to regain myself because I was about to tear up.
Big-time players step up in big games. That's all I got to say. Big-time players step up in big games. All the criticizing, all that, it's over, baby. Big-time players step up in big games.
To me, it was like winning the national championship.
And I remember after the game, like the whole team was at Black Gold, the strip club on 79th. We had practice the next day, but we just living their life that night.
That changed everything. You could go to Coconut Grove and say, hey, I'm from the Hurricanes. Can I come in your club? Sure enough, come right on it. You might get escorted through the back, through the VIP room because of that game.
Next thing you know, I'm at frat parties, and I'm like a celebrity walking around campus, and my phone rings all the time from my friends in Oklahoma, family calls. I saw you on TV, da-da-da. So, and the most important thing, we beat Florida State.
Is it safe to say that Miami is back in the running?
Yeah, I think so. For the first time, you felt like, you know what? We're back.
Coach Davis said, we won the game. It was great, guys, but, let's win them all from here on out.
There you go now.
I think every...
Oh, I think so.
And every time he takes the pitch,
That's it! Oh, my!
you can experience his brilliance on Sirius XM. Saturday at 7:30 Eastern, hear Messi and Inter Miami take on the New York Red Bulls.
Messi's going to be like the Beatles here, man. Everywhere they go.
It's Messi Mania, and it's on Sirius XM FC, channel 157, and the SXM app.
Messi, it is magisterial best!
Get the SiriusXM app and listen on your phone when you get out of the car. Anywhere you take your phone, you can take Howard Stern, NFL Radio, and commercial-free music channels from nearly every genre. You never have to miss your favorite SiriusXM programs or commercial-free music. Find the SiriusXM app in the App Store or call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/app to find out more.
Did you know SiriusXM has over 100 extra channels on the SXM app, filled with ad-free music made for everything you do? Mashup channels, workout channels, channels for parties, or just chilling out and more. Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity. Extra channels let you discover new music and enjoy even more variety from every decade and music style you love. Plus, you can watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows with SiriusXM Video. And you can do it all along with listening in your car as part of our music and entertainment plan. Right now, we're offering SiriusXM subscription plans for as low as $6 a month, plus fees and taxes. Call 844-711-8800 to find out more about these amazing offers.
With traditional radio, you could be putting up with 10, 15, even 20 minutes of interruptions every hour. Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly and activate your radio. Say goodbye to commutes spent constantly flipping through the dial trying to avoid commercials. And say hello to commercial-free music from nearly every genre, available nationwide. Become a SiriusXM subscriber today. Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly or call 844-711-8800 now. Tune in a world of music discovery and tune out annoying commercials.
More new comedy. Comedy Central Radio. Laugh USA. Raw Dog Comedy. More exclusive comedy.
Netflix is a joke.
It's more than you bargained for, right?
I'm telling you, people, we're even funny on the radio.
More classic comedy.
Comedy greats.
More down-home comedy.
Jeff and Larry's Comedy Roundup.
And more stuff you can't hear anywhere else.
She's so funny on SiriusXM. Comedy by women.
To hear the SiriusXM comedy channels, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly. Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app.
Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Deserve the best. With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, Vidi Vidi Vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe in 28 podcast applications. And I really do appreciate that. Today's show is a beautiful August the 24th, sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit you where the good Lord split you. As well as driving a fleet of Cadillac cars all over the universe. You can follow the Big C Sports Podcast on 28 podcast platforms: Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Amazon Podcast. Really do appreciate them. Good Pods Podcast. I'm telling you, you can find us on Geo Savan out of London, England, as well as India, and Africa, Podtail, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Repod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Live, Pod Day, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Prodigy, Podcast Republic. I'm telling you, there's only one that used to scare me and then it stopped, but now it's back again. It's called AllFees.ai. The robots are taking over. Give that some praise. We got to turn those robots off because they really are starting not to mind their own business. If that makes sense to you. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. And I have a story today. I'll get into it later, but I went to the dentist today and they said, do you have insurance? I say, I have insurance. They said, great. They said, well, let's run your insurance and see how much it covers. I said, okay, that's fine. And by the time they saw how much the insurance would cover, they started giving me hors d'oeuvres. They asked me if I wanted a foot rub. They asked me if I wanted a back rub. I said, I thought I came here just to get a dental checkup. They said, yeah, but we got to massage you so you spend more money. Be careful when you go to the dentist and they start rubbing your feet. I'm not saying I complain, but it just felt awkward, if that makes sense. I want to thank you for our veterans. Met a veteran today. I was ordering, don't laugh, I was ordering some chicken for lunch. I eat chicken. It was baked chicken. I eat it almost every day. 2 chicken thighs, and I'm good. I had 2 chicken thighs and talked to a veteran, and he was former Army, and told him thank you for your service. And we talked about some things where he says he has post-traumatic stress disorder, and he had to go to see 4 doctors before they would give him some medication for what he was dealing with. I just thought that was a shame that he had to go through 4 different doctors to get that. But I want to know for our veterans, I was telling them there's a Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. If you know anybody needing help, 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give them some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I know I do. It's always nice having somebody to lean on. I also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then he said, let there be light. and then the light was there. And that's what I heard, depending on what good book you read. I want to say thank you for so many great things in the world of Big C Sports. Got some college football I want to talk about today. A lot of college football getting ready to kick off, and it's amazing. These guys are getting paid now. Reggie Bush also filed a lawsuit against the NCAA. They took Reggie Bush's scholarship away. They took his Heisman Trophy away because they said he took some money. And then the same USC that said Reggie Bush can't have his Heisman Trophy in the NCAA because he took some money, they decided to change the whole conference for money. That doesn't make any sense. Again, taking money to praise. Everybody want to do something for money. It's easier when you gotta pay the price for doing what the people who punish you didn't have to pay the price for. So he's taking them to court, and that's just the way love goes. I want to also say I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force because they're getting money too. They're trying to get us some money. Really do appreciate it. I met with all the members of the California Reparations Task Force. It's something that's so important. But even though it's important, there are a lot of people that just don't understand that it's there. You got to keep fighting for things. If not, it's just like anything else in life. It goes away if you don't water the garden, if that makes sense to you. But I want to always give praise on every show to the California Reparations Task Force. They are doing whatever they can to make sure that reparations is done. And they were actually mandated by California Governor Gavin Newsom. I've actually met each one of them. I want to give them some praise. California Reparations Task Force Chair, Attorney Camila Moore, brilliant. And Attorney in Reparative Justice, really do appreciate her. And then Dr. Amy C. Brown, Vice Chair, brilliant. Love giving them praise, has a long history of civil rights. And then the best senator in the United States of America, California Senator Stephen Bradford, brilliant. Really do appreciate him. Responsible for name, image, and likeness. If only Reggie Bush had him around when he was getting whatever they accused him of, he would not have had to give up his Heisman Trophy. And then Council Member Monica Montgomery Steppe, brilliant. Really do appreciate her. And then another brilliant person, Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer, brilliant. Be having conversations with him soon. And then Dr. Cheryl Grills, brilliant. Really do appreciate her. Attorney Lisa Holder, brilliant. Really do appreciate talking to her. Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, Professor at California Berkeley, brilliant. And then Donald K. Tamaki, part of the Reparations Task Force, brilliant. I'm going to give them all some praise. Give them praise, praise, praise. And you know Big C Sports is the only sports show in the universe that talks about them. I listen to sports talk all over the country, and nobody says anything about reparations. Even the people in the Pac-12 conference. It's amazing how we have media on the West Coast, and they talk so much about the Pac-12 conference, how it's been just cut up and spit out. You have teams that are joining the Big Ten. You have teams that are joining the Big 12. And now you have Stanford and Cal Berkeley, as well as Washington State and Oregon State still looking for a place to go. They're looking for a place to call home. And what did Dorothy tell us? She said there's no place like home. With the same conference, they say nothing about reparations. You know, these schools, these major universities, for people to say, oh, there you go on that reparations again, Curry. Well, think about this. You're talking about reparations and how descendants of child slavery would get compensation, just like our Jewish brethren did. I still do to this day from the Holocaust. And the universities that were fighting name, image, and likeness to help athletes get paid, they decided to opt out for more money. And many schools went to the Big Ten. USC took the scholarship away or the Heisman Trophy away from Reggie Bush. They opted for the Big Ten for more money. Does that make it think, wait a minute, what? They did what? Yeah, they went after Reggie Bush's Heisman, the Southern California Trojans, but they left the Pac-12 to join the Big Ten for more money. That school. And then UCLA, their brothers to the west in Westwood, California, they opted out of the Pac-12 to go to the Big Ten for more money. And then the good old boys up in the Pacific Northwest, the University of Washington Huskies, they opted out of the Pac-12 to join the Big Ten for more money. And then Phil Nike territory, the Oregon Ducks, they opted out of that Pac-10 or the Pac-12 to join the Big Ten for more money. But these same universities were fighting tooth and nail to make sure that kids don't get money for the name, image, and likeness. And that was a battle that went on for years. These conferences decided to change. They changed underwear or jock straps in a matter of a couple of years. Didn't take them a long time. But the California Reparations Task Force has an 1,100-page report that provides recommendations for lawmakers. Lawmakers. It's not just me. And for people that say, oh, well, we way past that, these universities left to get more money. They could have put up a fight to join the California Reparations Task Force and give them praise. They were trying to get everyone money. But most of these college presidents, they're Caucasian, and they would tell these black athletes, you don't deserve to make money on your name, image, and likeness. Let us do that. But when it came time for them to change conferences for more money, they did it. They just left. They didn't even think about it. You never heard them championing for reparations for all people of color, or at least black Americans, descendants of child slavery, but these same universities. And the one that punished Reggie Bush, the USC Trojans, they left for more money. And now today, you got to realize Reggie Bush has grown. He's not only running footballs, he's grown some balls of his own in his own backyard. And I'm going to talk about that too, because ex-USC football star Reggie Bush has a defamation lawsuit against the NCAA, and that's important. I'm proud of him for doing that, because for many years they did not even defend him. USC, when Reggie Bush was there, I think they won 34 games in a row. They were ranked number 1 in the country 2 years in a row, and was going for a three-peat when they lost to Texas, when inexplicably the Heisman Trophy winner was on the sideline for 3rd and 4th down. It was 3rd and 2, he was on the sideline standing next to Pete Carroll. On 4th and 1, he was on the sideline standing next to Pete Carroll. All the shenanigans to make sure that USC did not win that game against Texas. What? What are you talking about, Big C? Yeah, they pulled Michael Jordan out of the game when the Bulls were down by 1 basket. They were down 100-98. And they had 1 minute left to go in the game. And Phil Jackson had Michael Jordan sit next to him on the sideline. People would say, oh, that would never happen. You wouldn't have the best player in the game on the sideline when you need him the most? Well, that's what they did with Reggie Bush. He was on the sideline on 3rd down and 2. They hand off to Lindell White up the middle. They had Reggie Bush on the sideline again on 4th down and 1. And they hand off to Lindell White, and he was stopped. And Texas took over. Less than 2 minutes to play and went down and won the game with Vince Young. But had they given Reggie Bush the ball, he was averaging 5 yards a carry in that game. Why'd they want him on the sideline? 800 gambler. What? 800 gambler. You got the best player on the football field, Heisman Trophy winner, on the sideline. And then shortly after that, it came out that maybe somebody gave him a paper bag. You ever get someone a paper bag? And it cost him his Heisman Trophy. And USC didn't even defend him. That same USC, they voted for the Big Ten because of more money. And I'm proud of Reggie Bush for standing up for himself. Really do appreciate the fact that he's doing that, because these are not the days where you just shut up and dribble anymore. And I know some people don't like that because they want to make sure that you shut up and dribble. But Reggie Bush is doing something that's going to help a lot of people. He's a rich man now. He probably should have done this many, many years ago. But since he's lost his Heisman Trophy and USC didn't defend him, name, image, and likeness is there. Now people are getting paid on top of the table, not just under the table. And the whole school has joined a new conference for more money. They threw him under the bus. Oh, we're going to go more money because it's going to help us fund more programs. They threw him under the bus when he helped to make a lot of money for being on TV almost every week with USC. I want to say Big C Sports a little bit different. I got a little radiation today, so I don't know if I'm discombobulated, but everything seems like it's glowing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's from the foot rub they gave me at the dentist office and the back rub they gave me at the dentist office. They even offered me a libation. They said, "Do you have insurance?" I said, "Yeah, I have insurance." And then they said, I felt like I was at the Coca-Cabana. The hottest spot north of Havana. Anyway, I always direct the show. I produce the show. I broadcast the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. And I'm telling you, the commercials are done. I do all the commercials before the show. So it's called the pre-roll. I do them all pre-roll. And most programs, if they go an hour, they'll have 3 or 4 stops where they'll run 3 or 4 commercials. I do all my commercials up front. And today it's about college football because I'm really excited about the pigskin, if that makes sense to you. And then the stats I provided, the storytelling. I even do the play-by-play up to the line of scrimmage. I set formation, 4 wideouts. USC on 50-yard line. Texas is at the 5-man front. And they have 4 defensive backs back. Matt Leinart with the pitch, running left to Reggie Bush. He turns the corner at the 50. He's across the 40, down inside the 30. Makes a man miss at the 20, the 10, 5. Touchdown, USC! And then they say, thank you for all the wins, but we're gonna take away your Heisman Trophy because you took what we got. Because they took some money. Allegedly. I don't want them suing me. But allegedly took some money. But the University of Southern California, they didn't allegedly do nothing. They took the money. And they told you they're leaving for more money. Not because they have a better education in the Big Ten, but they went for more money. Then the show's uploaded to 28 multiple podcast platforms out of New York City. And I'm in Denver Hills, California. And then I'm telling you, it's uploaded. I never missed a show since doing Big C Sports. Back in 2015, never missed a show. And I'm telling you, life is funny. Because I was thinking, obviously, why would Reggie Bush just walk away and put his head down? And the university that did not even back him, that threw him under the bus, they went after more money, and they got cheered for it. There are people saying, well, the Pac-12 is desolate now. The universities did not move the campuses. All they did was move the affiliation, the bank account. Got a little bit bigger with that Big Ten money coming in. And they left. And the fact that Reggie Bush stayed and didn't do anything to cause any more harm to the USC family. But they threw him under the bus. And I'm proud that he's standing up for himself and not just walking around with his head down thinking those people like him. They don't like you. That's why they didn't stand up for you. With all the money that USC has, they could have put together a law group to help fight for Reggie Bush because he put a lot of money in their pockets by being on TV almost every week and being ranked in the top 2 or 3, 1, 2, or 3 almost every week when he was there. Even the people that talk about the SEC and their dominance. There was a time when USC went down to Auburn at Jordan-Hare Stadium. They shut them out. 23-0. Matt Leinart was quarterback. Reggie Bush was tailback, and they shut out the SEC champion, the Auburn Tigers, War Eagle. It was 23-0. Never ever forget that. Also, I think later the next year they beat Arkansas 70-17, and they also a few years later beat Arkansas back at Arkansas. I think it was 50-13, and Arkansas went on to win the SEC that year. So all the talk about the SEC dominance, the Trojans took on some of those SEC programs when they were winning SEC championships. And when you look at what they did to Auburn, 23-0 at Jordan-Hare, and also beating up on Arkansas 70-17 at the Coliseum, and then the next year beat Arkansas 50-13. That year Arkansas also won the SEC. Those things matter, but those were the days back in the day, and things changed. But I'm proud of Reggie Bush for doing what he did. I want to pay quick homage to my beautiful family legacy, the way I always do for a Big C Sports podcast. I love paying homage to my beautiful mother. On my mother's side, my great-grandmother called her Mamo, a beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. Really do appreciate her. Then my grandmother, actually my great-grandfather, called him Pop, former military man and former Negro League baseball player, known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. And for saying, boys, get out of that barn. I can still hear his voice saying, get out of that barn. We were just trying to find out what came first, the chicken or the egg. He said, get out of that barn. Get out of that barn, boys. Sometimes you got to yell at boys because sometimes we just don't listen as well. And then my beautiful grandmother Called her my dear, beautiful, loving, kind woman. Always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. Really do appreciate her. She was a seer. She could oftentimes see things in people and tell you about their past, present, and future. She still helps me to this day. And then my beautiful grandfather Hezekiah, another wonderful person. A seer could oftentimes look at a person and tell you what's going on in their life. They call them empathics now, or psychics. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and then coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. In an all-men's league, they were always playing James Brown. This is the man's world. She say, hey, but it be nothing without a woman or a girl. Hey! I think the first black woman to win a Little League Major League or a Little League baseball championship in Denver Hills, California. Really do appreciate my mama. Love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. In fact, at the church, and this is why I'm telling you, at the church, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. At a restaurant, everybody wanted Mrs. Curry's cooking. And at home, everybody wanted mama's cooking. She said, son, how many plates have you had? And I said, back by popular demand, I said, plates of baby crap to what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my reparations, mama. You know, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not as funny. It was always funny to me, even if I had to go get back in line again. Love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. The best person I ever met in my life. And then on my father's side, my grandfather, Albert Curry, former pastor, he had 2 churches in Oakland, built the 3rd church in Central California with his own hands. And he also owned 2 gas stations in Oakland, one on Bancroft, the other on Foothill, and they were Shell stations. But what I'm most proud of, he owned 40 acres of land. Like the Emancipation Proclamation, where freed black men were supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. That's important to me. Because now his grandson is talking about reparations now, reparations forever. And I really appreciate where I've had the example of how to ask for what you want. The answer is either yes or no. You cannot say the right thing to the wrong person, and you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. You just got to ask, and I really appreciate asking. And then my beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry, working side by side with my granddaddy with the 2 churches in Oakland and building the 3rd church in Central California. I remember walking through a hallway. I was 8 years old, and I was approached by her hands on my forehead. And she said, excuse me, young man, you going to get some of her cookies? And I said, what's she doing up at 10 o'clock? She normally goes to bed at 8:30. I remember saying that. I said, cookies are baby crap to what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my reparations, Grandma. But she said there's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak. And I really do appreciate that, because now I have a platform that has 28 platforms. How did that happen? And 4 TV platforms, so that's really 32. But I tell you, I appreciate the love growing up, and always will appreciate that. Then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that airplanes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. I remember my dad always saying, develop your mind to the highest extent. In fact, in the Air Force, my father's roommate was the late Al Freeman Jr., who played the Honorable Elijah Muhammad in one of my favorite movies, Malcolm X, that was written and produced by the great Spike Lee and acted by my favorite actor, the great Denzel Washington. And I love the part where Denzel said, reparations now, reparations forever. Imagine getting Denzel to play in the Reparations movie coming out. If he doesn't do it, I will. I just want to narrate it, if that makes sense to you. But really do appreciate my dad and always saying, develop your mind to its highest extent. Then my beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. He always saying, go forward. A voracious reader. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Especially when we talked about the Ben Rames skit in Pulp Fiction, where Ben Rames, I thought about, why was Reggie Bush on the sideline anyway when they had 4th and 1, and he was averaging 5 yards to carry in the Rose Bowl 2005. And I remember Ben Rames told Bruce Willis, he said, your butt goes down in the 5th round, see that flip? So Bruce Willis said, okay, my butt goes down in the 5th round. He told him, that stinking sensation you feeling? Well, that's just pride bumping with you. And what a lot of people got to learn when you don't get your way, it's what Ben Rames said to Bruce Willis in Pulp Fiction. And I think what happened when Reggie Bush was told you can't be in the game in the last 2 plays. It's called pride. He said pride only hurts. It never helps. A lot of people got pride. We all got pride. You got to put your pride aside at times. And I'm thinking there's something up that I don't want. Well, I can't talk about it because I don't know about it for sure. It's just a hunch. And that's why I say 800 gambler. Why you have your best player on the sideline when you just need 2 yards? On the sideline. Keith Jackson, the late Keith Jackson, called that game. What is Reggie Bush not in the game? Standing right next to Pete Carroll. So maybe he was told, your butt goes down in the 5th round. There's never been a three-peat champion in college football. Not that I recall. Maybe my research is off. But Nebraska tried to three-peat. They couldn't do it. Alabama's tried to three-peat. They couldn't do it. USC tried to three-peat. They couldn't do it. Georgia's trying to three-peat this year. They won't do it. Miami's tried it back in the day. They couldn't do it. Never been a three-peat champion. It's hard to win that many games. And Todd and I talked about those things all the time. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Then my beautiful daughter, Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors in 3.5 years. Helped me set up the very first interview with Big C Sports. Always pray, Daisy, Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Always trust God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul. In fact, Daisy, one time, she scored 6 goals in a soccer game, left-footed. It was like Daisy with the kick, Daisy with the goal, 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 goal. She's like, Dad, could you quit screaming so loud, please? But I was the one jumping up and down like I scored the goal. A right-footed kicker did 6 goals and left-footed, if that makes sense to you. But she also would help me set up in college coaches that come to the West Coast and do work with Big C Sports. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be. And then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. I'm telling you, a college student, a senior this year, so proud of you. Always go forward, son. Just get her done. And always trust God, Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Malcolm helped me save trees. I used to always get newspapers and look up stats for the Big C Sports podcast. And one day, Malcolm said, Dad, he said, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since. Now on 28 podcast platforms and 4 TV platforms. One day, Malcolm said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. And shortly after that, it's on 4 TV platforms, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I want to give you praise, Malcolm. Always trust God, Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you will prosper. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. And then Big C, with all that wealth and knowledge over the years, like my great-granddaddy coming out of that barn. So you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. Let's get ready to rumble. I'd love to say welcome to the show. F-nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no script. I have no 3-way teleprompters, no producer in my ear. And that's the way the story goes, as Janet Jackson said. I want to talk some about football because really one of my favorite athletes to watch was USC. He played at Healy's High School in La Mesa and in the San Diego area. And it's amazing how he went to USC. They'd always been a good program, but he made them a lot better. And when I think about what I learned about today, is that ex-USC football star, he has a defamation lawsuit against the NCAA. He wants all of his accomplishments to be restored. And I agree with him. It was just like slavery or sharecropping. Oh, you can't call a college education sharecropping. He helped that university make millions of dollars, more than they would have made without him, because they were on TV every week, mainly because of Reggie Bush. They made all that money on that black kid. And when it rumor has it that maybe somebody gave him some cash, I don't know who gave him the cash, but some people allege that it was someone by the name of Kardashian. I don't know if it's true or not. That's how rumors get started. But would you believe the university, when name, image, and likeness was passed so that college kids could make money, you know USC never called Reggie Bush to give him that money back? We love you, man. We love you, brother. They never called him to give any of that money back. But they kept his Heisman Trophy. It's something that every young kid, especially black kids, got to learn. the NCAA has been one of the most heavily criticized sporting leagues in the country for their sharecropping behavior. They refused for many, many years to even discuss giving any sort of financial compensation to those black athletes. Well, they had some white athletes too, but the majority of their players were black. You can Google it. They refused to even talk about it. Any kind of compensation to the student athletes, despite making millions off the backs of black players and whites too. And it caused problems for years. For so many people, only recently has the NCAA finally given in and now allows student athletes to receive financial compensation for their name, image, and likeness. They didn't give in. It's an antitrust violation to make money off of people and not pay them. Oh, they finally gave it? No, they were sued. It was not an easy fight, but a necessary one. And while the players of today, they can receive these benefits because of the best senator in the country, California Senator Stephen Bradford. I remember talking to him about that when I addressed him at a reparations rally. He acknowledged me. He said, I'm glad you told me about that. He said, I'm glad you acknowledged that. A lot of people don't give him credit. Intelligent black men. So while the players of today can receive these benefits, there are plenty of former players who were punished. They were punished for making the school millions. And one of those is former USC Trojan running back Reggie Bush. They love Reggie. USC up to the line of scrimmage, 50-yard line. I set formation, 4 wideouts, 5-man in front by UCLA to the pitch, running left to, he got the ball, cutting across the 50 to the 40, cuts inside the 30, breaking tackles at the 25, 20, 10, 55, touchdown! USC! They love USC. They were on TV all the time. They always had Reggie Bush. UCLA to kick off, Reggie Bush back at the 1-yard line, catches the ball, has a seam to the right. There he goes, has a man to miss, makes a man miss at the 30, across the 40, across the 50, down inside the 40, at the 30, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! USC! We got a game against Fresno State. I think they won 50-42. And that's the night he won the Heisman Trophy. And he had so many cutbacks in that game. I think he had over 400 yards total offense. And the Coliseum was rocking that night when they beat Notre Dame on the Bush push, when he pushed Matt Leinart into the end zone. Games against UCLA, Washington, Oregon, when they beat Oklahoma 50-19 in the Orange Bowl down in Florida. When they beat Auburn 23-0 at Jordan Hare. That was Reggie Bush. And he brought more people to the Coliseum to watch him play than probably anybody in decades. And then somebody gave him allegedly some money, maybe his girlfriend. Boyfriends and girlfriends tend to give each other things. And he got punished. Who dropped dime? So the former USC star, All-American running back Reggie Bush, according to the NCAA, Bush essentially never attended at USC as a football player, as his records in the Trojans' 2004 national championship were vacated. Those are huge allegations. So Bush is now fighting back with a defamation lawsuit against the NCAA that he claims the NCAA attacked his character over the years and caused major damage to his reputation with their punishment. Now, if Reggie Bush wasn't going to class, who are the teachers and the administrators and the coaches that would have known? They could have said, wait a minute, this guy's playing the game, he hasn't been to class all year. You never heard about that. They punished him. According to the NCAA, they're saying Bush essentially never attended USC as a football player. It's a shame what he did for the school, and they turned their back on him. So Bush is now fighting back with a defamation lawsuit against the NCAA, and he claims that the NCAA attacked his character over the years and caused major damage to his reputation, and I'm proud of him. The lawsuit is based on the NCAA maliciously attacking his character through a completely false and highly offensive statement that was widely reported in the media. The lawsuit is based on the NCAA attacking his character through a completely false and highly offensive statement. And a lot of people they took it by storm and said, okay, it must be true. Why? Because I saw it in the media. Now, Reggie cannot change what happened, but the legacy of Bush and USC, it lives on to this day. And the NCAA cannot take that away from what he did on the field. But this is a chance to have his accomplishments restored officially, and with the new rules in place, it's time for Reggie Bush to get his due. It's been long enough, and the NCAA should restore his Heisman Trophy and pay back the money they made when he was running for touchdown! USC! They should get the money back. People just want to apologize now. But you're supposed to get money back. It's called punitive damages when somebody does you wrong. So the idea of vacating the wins is a strange act that the NCAA has used to punish teams, and they can't change what everyone saw on the field or how well he played. But the lawsuit is the first step for Reggie Bush. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. You know, they have big money. I'm sure there'll be some type of settlement along the way, but he should never have to go through that, because if he was guilty of anything, he'd be guilty of doing what the NCAA's done all the time. They say, show me the money! Like Tom Cruise in the movie, Jerry Maguire. That's the only thing he would be guilty of is doing what they did. Take all the money from these kids, most of them black. Don't give them nothing. And in fact, most of these black football players, when their playing days are over, eligibility's up, they don't get a job coaching the teams. A lot of the white players do. People know that. Look at Jim Harbaugh, head coach at Michigan now. He was coaching at Stanford before going to the 49ers. Head job. Pete Carroll, he had a chance to coach USC when Reggie Bush was there. He's in the NFL. Oftentimes, Shane Steichen right now, head coach, Indianapolis Colts. He was at UNLV. He's a coach now in the NFL. Everybody has their own opinion about who should get what and how it should be played out. But I'm proud that he took on the task of saying enough's enough, and not just let people get by with saying that you're a bad person or a bad guy because you took the money. And they all took the money. The universities took the money, and they gave them praise. Look at how much money they've taken in over the years. I'm glad that Reggie Bush is waking up. I'm glad that he's waking up. I want to touch on Pac-12 football, the last season before breaking up. And it's a shame, but the Pac-12 is over as we know it. There will be one final season before 8 teams head to new leagues. Southern California, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington will join the Big Ten for more money. Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah, they're headed to the Big 12 for more money. California, Oregon State, Stanford, and Washington State will be looking for a place to call home. What a shame. But I still want to do my part in talking about what I think is going to happen this year in the Pac-12 conference. I have USC in the Final Four for college football. In fact, the playoffs will expand to 8 games next year. Right now, just 4 teams can play. It would be 8 teams next year, I believe, is right. And then, so the Trojans, they head into their final season of the Pac-12 as the odds-on favorite. That might speak to the overall state of the Pac-12 and the league as a whole. But having the reigning Heisman Trophy winner in Caleb Williams, and no longer has Jordan Addison to throw the ball to, but he does have 4 of his next top 5 targets back from 2022. And also Arizona transfer Dorian Singer also joins the fold. And we know about the defensive issues last year on full display in the Cotton Bowl against Tulane. And at the same time, they're going to be a lot better this year. The front will almost be entirely new, but safety Max Williams is back to anchor the secondary Their offense is legit. They can score on anybody. Their defense will be better. I have them running the table this year. They do have a tough game coming up against Oregon, a tough game coming up against Washington, and a tough game at Notre Dame. Outside of that, I think they can beat everybody, maybe even by double digits. And that Notre Dame game later in the year, that's something you got to pay attention to because that's the Bush push that propelled USC. But sometimes the calls go against them. But I think they have enough to get over that game. And, of course, there's always a UCLA game, and I think they'll take care of UCLA. There's another great team in the Pac-12, defending Pac-12 champion. They call the Utah Utes, and they're hopeful that the great Cam Rising has recovered from the knee injury suffered in January and the Rose Bowl loss to Penn State. If so, the veteran gives the Utes an elite starter and a steadying presence on an offense that still needs to lock down an elite running back. On the defensive side, Utah may struggle to replace cornerback Clark Phillips, but at the same time, it has options at the position, including Mississippi transfer Miles Battles. I can't wait to see the game next week. Is Utah at home versus the Florida Gators of the SEC, this time up in the Wasatch Mountains. We will see what happens in that game. And then I look at Oregon. I got to look for transfers to make a big impact on defense. Iowa transfer Justin Jacobs will help the Oregon Ducks replace linebacker Noah Swell. And Oregon also added USC transfer Jordan Burch, a former 5-star prospect who took a huge step forward. And if he can help transfer in the pass rush, then the Ducks should have another good season. I know they started the season last year. They had a letdown when they went down and played Georgia in the Kickoff Classic. And many people said they thought they were at a slow dance party. The Georgia Bulldogs were holding them so close, if that makes sense to you. And then I gotta bring it to another team, the University of Washington Huskies. This group is among the second-tier playoff contenders, thanks to the coach Keelan DeBoer out of Fresno State, a transfer, and what has been a widely underachieving offense with quarterback Michael Penix Jr. and wide receivers Rome Oduzzi and then Jalen McMillan leading the way. This offense will continue to flourish and add the pieces together for a strong pass rush on defense with a great team that's capable of winning the Pac-12 in their last season in the Pac-12. What a shame you have up at Puget Sound, one of the best places to watch a college football game, and now and the crowd goes nuts. And I love the fact that they have this great atmosphere at Husky Stadium. But now they want to tear it down, not the stadium, but the conference. I remember being up at Washington the year that Washington won the national championship. They split it with Miami. And they've revamped that stadium on Puget Sound. It's a great place to go see a football game. And when they have the purple jerseys, they call it Purple Rain with the gold pants and the gold helmets with the W on the side. Just a great place to watch a football game. I really like what the University of Washington can do this year. Don't be surprised if the Oregon State Beavers can come up in the front half of the Pac-12 conference. The Beavers brought in Clemson transfer quarterback DJ Uiagalelei out of California St. John Bosco High School and also the University of Clemson. And he's a good player. He's juiced up an offense that was solid but not spectacular last year. And the defense led the Pac-12 in yards allowed but returned several important pieces. If that group can maintain its high standards, don't be surprised if Oregon State is pushing for a conference championship bid. Not that they're going to get it. But if you look at how well they beat down Florida from the SEC, I think they beat them 33-3 in a bowl game, because Paul Finebaum says the SEC has better football. Someone forgot to tell Oregon State. There, how's that, Mr. Feinbaum? All fair level work. Another football program on the West Coast that's also leaving for the Big Ten for more money. The UCLA, what they call the UCLA Bruins, UCLA fight. Well, Chip Kelly has carefully and deliberately built one of the league's best rosters. And now the question comes, which quarterback can take over for longtime starter Dorian Thompson-Robinson? The most ballyhooed contender is 5-star true freshman Deontay Moore, one of his top recruits in modern program history. Chip Kelly had so much success at Oregon. I remember Crenshaw DeAnthony Thomas went up there, and he was such a tough player to tackle, and they had a lot of speed. They've also had so many great players up at Oregon, and this year, maybe not as talented as in years past, but they're also moving to the Big Ten. It's a shame that all of these programs that have been playing for a Rose Bowl championship every year, in a Pac-12 championship and a chance at a national championship. Now they're disbanded to go play in another conference that's far, far away. I don't like it, but they didn't ask me if I liked it. I also got to look at programs like Arizona, and then fixing the Wildcats offense is Coach Jed Fish. It looks to do the same thing on the defense. It has not finished higher than 71st nationally in yards allowed per play since 2013. And one way to do that is by forcing more turnovers. Another concern, Arizona has just 27 takeaways in the past 3 seasons. But they've also revamped their stadium, and I want to give them some praise because they too are leaving the Pac-12 for more money. Gone are the days of Desert Storm, that defense with the great Teddy Bruschi out of Roseville High School and played for the New England Patriots. They also left the Pac-12 for more money. A lot of people leave for more money, but they always chastise the players for taking money. I got to look at Washington State. The Cougars topped a 27-year-old coach Ben Arbuckle as offensive coordinator after he spent 1 season with the same position at Western Kentucky. The 2022 offense at Western Kentucky finished second nationally in passing yards per game. If Arbuckle can get the Washington State passing game going, this team could easily match last year's 7-win total. They were beaten up pretty solidly by Fresno State out of the Mountain West in the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl at SoFi Stadium in Southern California. We will see what happens. And then Arizona State has a couple of quality pass rushers and also pass catchers. They have a great quarterback in Jaden Rashada, a true freshman who beat out Notre Dame transfer Drew Payne and holdover Trenton Broquette for the starting nod. The best of receiving bunch is junior Elijah Badger, and last year's leader in receptions, 70 receptions, receiving yards 866, and 7 touchdowns. I got to bring you to another program in the Pac-12 that may have more success than people give it credit for. I got to look at Stanford. Don't look for a big turnaround. A lot of people say that. But Stanford, for the Cardinals, new head coach Troy Taylor, and one area of focus is a pitfall. They got to fix their run game. But Troy Taylor never lost a conference game in the Big Sky Conference. They were undefeated 3 years in a row at Sacramento State. He brings that same high-flying offense to the Stanford Cardinals. He coached over at Folsom High School, where they won state championships with the high-flying offense that he had. He also played at Rancho Cordova High School back in the day before he went to Cal Berkeley. I think it's going to bring a good offense, a firehouse. I'm telling you, this team is going to throw the ball a lot this year. It is going to catch some people off balance, I think. Their run defense has got to get better also. They've gotten better in recent years, but they ranked 127th nationally, give up 224 yards allowed per game. But that's under different. David Shaw did the best he could. Stanford has a tough time recruiting athletes because of the GPA requirements. But under Troy Taylor, I think this team is going to do fine because they can throw the ball and they can put you back on your feet. Don't be surprised if they throw the ball 50 times a game, and Stanford's going to upset a couple of people, if that makes sense to you. I got to bring up the Cal Bears. A more reliable running game is one way to improve the program's 2-10 record the past 2 seasons. In games decided by a touchdown or less, the offensive line remains pretty much intact, while Power 5 transfers from Oregon and Tennessee have increased the talent level in the running backs room. In TCU transfer quarterback Sam Jackson, the fifth, will play a part in the ground game. Look for Cal to do better than a 2-win season, but I don't look for them to have more than 5 wins at Strawberry Canyon. And then the primetime Deion Sanders, Colorado's also going to the Big 12, really, which is where they came from when they were the Big 8 at that time. But the most intriguing team is Colorado, which has embraced an unprecedented rebuild under primetime Deion Sanders. We'll have an almost brand new roster, and how will this experiment go? The Buffaloes are full of confidence, but a rebuild of this type of magnitude has never been attempted. They have a lot of newcomers. Colorado has to develop some cohesiveness on both sides of the line, and Deion Sanders had a great success at Jackson State. At the same time, he's in new territory, and they may not tolerate them good old boys from the South coming in to the West Coast and dim their heels and getting the calls. I just think that Deion Sanders is going to do a fine job at Colorado, but it might take another year when they move back to the Big 12, because I just don't see so much change making a big difference. But it may. I don't put anything past Deion Sanders. He knows how to coach. He's an NFL Hall of Famer. If there's anything that people can learn from primetime Deion Sanders is he knows how to win. He knows how to coach football players. Football's on his blood. I think he's going to have a great season of improving. Maybe they'll even win 5 games. I'm not going to put them being at the top of the heap in the Pac-12 conference. I just don't see that because there's too many newcomers in this program, and I think that's going to be the detriment to the University of Colorado football. But I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see Deion Sanders succeed because he can show players how to get to the next level. Why? Because he's been there. He's been there. He knows what he's doing. And that's what I love about that. Now, with everything I've talked about with these college footballs, and I started out talking about reparations and how many programs have left the Pac-12 conference to join the Big Ten and to join the Big 12. But what I have not heard them talk about is reparations now, reparations forever. And I would hope that at least primetime Deion Sanders will be one to champion that cause. Because he knows, as much as anybody else, sports is a big business. And there are times when people look at athletes to just look at athletes. And what can the athletes do for them? But we got to figure out a way to make it more equitable for black coaches like primetime Deion Sanders. I would love to see him succeed. I would love to see that. We have to figure out how to make things happen at a high level. And I think that Deion Sanders can do that. It's so important that he succeed in doing things his way because he's up against the good old boy system. And let's just be candid. Sometimes they'll not tolerate people coming in to do whatever they want to do. I would love to see him have success. It would be an honor to see more doors open for black men. It would be great to see that. But they're also leaving and going back to the Big 12. But again, they came from the Big 8. So I see it okay for them to go back. That's part of life. You're going to go where opportunities are. You don't go where opportunities are drying up. You got to go where the opportunities are. And I see that's what Deion Sanders did. People complain that he left Jackson State, but he went where the money was. And you can't blame him for doing that because a lot of people are doing that. And I want to see him have as much success as humanly possible. Sha'Carri Richardson survives the semifinals to clinch the 200 meters finals. She set the world on notice, running 10.65 on the 100 meter. And now she's doing her thing, survives the semifinals for the 200. Track and field is tough, especially when you're running so fast against the best competition in the world. And women, we know they don't get the same publicity that men get, and they should. I think Sha'Carri Richardson, like FloJo, is making more news for young track stars, for track athletes. She's an amazing sprinter out of LSU. A lot of the sports fans, they were giving her a lot of praise, giving her praise. She has a beautiful look. She's so focused, and she's a champion. I want to see her do so well because she inspires a lot of young women to get up and make something happen in a world that's really dominated. It's mostly men-centric. It's more male-centric in the world of track and field. But she's must-see TV. I just hope that she does great. I'm very proud of her. Qualifying time and winning time, no matter what it is, she's already won the 100 meter. I just want to see more young people motivated by someone like her that took a lot of criticism for something that is now becoming more and more legalized. But she didn't stop. She came back and she put on the show, and I want to give her praise. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you on every Big C Sports show, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You could call Uber. You could call Lyft. You can sleep it off. You can walk it off. But don't get behind the wheels of a car when you've been drinking and driving. The life you save may be your own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. he would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat, because all the Big C burgers make me land on my feet. That's why I float like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee, and I'm rumbling. I really do appreciate Ali. And then, I'm telling you, my beautiful mother always says, there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know anybody going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911, because things change when the police show up. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super, fantastic day. As I always honor the late great President Abraham Lincoln, reparations now, reparations forever. Say it with me 2 more times in honoring President Abraham Lincoln. Reparations now, reparations forever. Say it like your team just won the game. Reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a super, fantastic day.